Okay, so you guys are never going to believe this. I just listened to the news, and the jury is deadlocked on Callista Springer. Deadlocked. After 6 days of deliberations, they can't decide whether or not Marcia and Anthony are guilty of first-degree murder. I guess it's because it's first-degree felony torture, and they have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Marcia and Anthony intentionally caused this child harm. Okay, so my theory on that is if you chain your child to a bed with zip ties and a dog collar and wrap that dog collar around her waist so it's so tight that she has to be cut out of it, and you leave her alone with no food or water for more than 72 hours, I believe that's guilty of felonious assault and murder. But that's just me, and I'm not a retarded member of the jury. I'm actually intelligent, and an idiot would know this. Oh, God, my 8-year-old knows better than this. What they did to her was wrong, and you guys are going to tell me this can lead to a mistrial? They can get off on this? And Marcia's sister's like pushing away cameras when she's leaving the courtroom? I don't care how she feels. I really could give a flying rat's butt less. I don't care. I don't care how any of those people feel. What about Dan and Sue Langdon? What about Norma Swagos? What about the two sisters that she never got to meet that are Norma's daughters? What about Courtney and Heather, who now have a sister they don't see either? What about all the family members that loved her and wanted her? Does anybody care about them? Do you ever hear anything about them? No, you don't. All you hear is poor little Marcia and Anthony. So this has been going on now for 3 weeks, and in all these counties, in 7 counties, over 7,000 people. They couldn't find 14 people that didn't want to see these people fry. Yet they go to Kalamazoo County, and you can't find 14 people that can come up with a verdict after 6 days. It's cut and dry. It's guilty. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Nothing but it's guilty. What they killed her. They might not have set the house fire intentionally, but they had her tied down so tight that the outline underneath her was completely white. No blankets, no pillows, no sheets, no comforters. Thin pants and a t-shirt. It was February. You're in Michigan. There's snow. It's cold. The outside of her door was locked, and they didn't have to tether her down. They had alarms that were provided for them for if Callista got up and wandered, because she did wander. If she got up and wandered, then they plugged in that they were sensors that would go off. They unplugged them because it was disturbing the animals when it went off. Really? That's your excuse for chaining her to her bed? And when Anthony Sperry got up on the stand, he had absolutely nothing positive to say about his daughter. The first words out of his mouth were, "I never thought she was going to be a rocket scientist." Listen, this is the child you lost in a house fire 2 years ago, and you have nothing nice to say about her at all? Everything was her fault. He blamed everything on her. And Marcia, that wussy ass didn't even get up on the stand. She sat on that bed, on that chair, the whole time. She had nothing in her defense to say. Her sister did. Her sister got up on the stand and said that she witnessed Callista drinking spoiled milk with her mother, that her mother had put spoiled milk in her bottle. Really? Because her mother breastfed her. And the last time I checked, your right one didn't have to be refrigerated and your left one didn't have to be frozen. That's God's natural milk, honey. That doesn't need to be refrigerated. How can that be spoiled? Even leaving breast milk out, do you know how long it takes for breast milk to spoil on a counter, let alone in the refrigerator? It takes a long time. So that's lies, all lies. She got up there and did nothing but lie about the birth mom and Callista. Thank God that Barb's husband, albeit separated, got up there and decided to tell the truth and didn't let it look like Clarissa was this horribly bad child, because she wasn't. She did not have pica. She didn't have anything they've accused her of having. What she had was an unloving home. She was hungry. She she ate out of garbage cans because she was hungry. She washed up in the bathroom. Didn't she wore dirty clothes to school? Friends brought in toothbrushes for her to use and shampoo for her to use at school and deodorant because she wasn't allowed to have those things. Okay, she was 16. She has body odor. I think that they start getting body odor at like 10 now. My 8-year-old stepson, he doesn't put deodorant on every day. He has body odor, and he's 8. Okay, welcome to the real world, folks. This baby needed this stuff. But, oh no, no. Not to them. She didn't need this. And now you're going to tell me this jury could be deadlocked and they can declare a mistrial, so we got to go through this all over again? It's bullcrap. Where do they get these idiots to come up with on a jury? Oh, my 8-year-old who has been reading the paper and following this in the news at 8 knows enough to know they need to be convicted. He's 8. What kind what kind of morons did they find for this jury up there in Kalamazoo County? Of course, Kalamazoo County. Let's remember this. Kalamazoo County, Heaven Diamond. Kalamazoo County has the woman that walked into CPS, begged them to take her child 3 times, and they wouldn't take her, and she killed her. Kalamazoo County has Bradley Miller Jr. He escaped from the Whaley Center even though he got taken away from his dad for doing the same thing. Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo. Idiots, morons, and retards. That's all I can say. These people are ignorant. They should have never been allowed to take the jury up there. And you know, McDonald, I know he's young, and a lot of people are saying it's the prosecutor's fault because he's so young. Wrong. He did a fantastic job. He was very passionate about this. And I think the judge is a great judge. I don't blame either one of them. It's the jury. It's cut and dry. They've had to ask the judge, I don't know how many times, what accounts for felony murder. Okay, I think it's like 4 times they asked. After I know what accounts for felony murder if you deliberately did something that caused them physical or emotional or mental harm. Told you guys before, National Child Welfare League Association, you cannot restrain or detain any human being for more than 3 minutes unless it's supervised by a doctor and a nurse. Anthony, not a doctor. Marcia, not a nurse. She was detained for days at a time. But that doesn't account for murder in the great state of Michigan. So I'll be back when I find out what it is for sure or not. Dean and Sue, my heart go out to you. Norma, if you're watching this or your daughters are, email me if you can. Get a hold of Sue. She knows how to email me. Um, and we'll get together. I'm sorry I didn't know you were up here. If I would have, I would have met with you. I didn't know until the day you left that you were actually up here. So, Dan and Sue, I'm sorry that you lost your granddaughter. Norma, I'm sorry that you lost the daughter you so desperately tried to get back. And as far as Anthony and Marcia Springer go, and Barb, I don't care what happens to you, Barb, and Anthony and Marcia. I hope you go to prison for the rest of your life because there is mothers there that can't see their children, and your blind ass is going to be given for a whirl. And there's fathers in there that can't see their children, and they are just going to hurt you every day. And I hope they make your life the living hellish nightmare that you made hers for 16 years. That's all I got to say, folks. I'll keep you up to date as soon as I know more. Later.